player doing a good job, and Rainbow might be able to hold on to one. Will he hold on to this medevac? Oh, it does look like he will be able to for now. Of course, he will most likely get cleaned up pretty easily. And actually an attack in the natural expansion, as well as the main base going for that economy. Rainbow doing just so much damage right here. Will lose the army that is in the natural, and he can actually go for the Nexus in the main base, but he's instead going for that Templar Archives right there.
Yeah, this amazingly effective triple drop moving into pick-off upgrade, pick-off units as they're trying to be worked in, just to try to spread out the Protoss as much as he possibly can. It's still continuing. They have not actually been cleaned up in either the main or the natural yet. When we look at the workers killed, it's now 34 workers killed by Rainbow to just 12 of his opponent. And the aggression continuing to move in to try to pressure that fourth base while Puck is desperately trying to clean up his main and natural.
That was just absolutely insane multitasking right there, and that's exactly what we're looking for in FRB. We want to see battles everywhere. Rainbow doing an excellent job there, of course using his Ghost Suit Brood War skills, no doubt. And wow, these Marauders at the natural are still alive. Finally loses that attack, loses that battle. Oh my gosh, I seriously did it again. I did not unmute myself. Oh, such a fail, such a fail. I'm gonna have to put like a big sticky up on my computer. Anyways, what I was saying was that was the one that I picked out. I really enjoyed it. What was really cool was that Rainbow did like 3 drops all at once, and the workers kill tab before he went into any of the drops was at 4. By the time that he was done doing all of his damage, he had killed 38 workers. It was so insane how good Rainbow's multitasking was right there.
Yeah, and right now we're going to be hopping into my own personal favorite in just a moment.
Yep, guys, so we'll be right back. It does look like Zerg has decided to go ahead and go for the engagement.
Yeah, he's moving up all of his infestors right now, along with a couple of overseers, just to make sure that they can see everything behind that mothership. The mothership is moving into position now. If all that army stays that clustered up, there might be a vortex. No, okay, now it's spreading out a little bit. So Saravati very smartly continuing to retreat. As the units for Zerg move forward on attack move, they will naturally cluster up and give him the small window of opportunity he might be able to use.
Alright, so here comes the final engagement, I do believe, and these Broodlords are just... Oh, there's the Vortex! Oh, he got so many Broodlords right there, but there's still so many left out, and oh my god, this is so scary for a Protoss player. That Vortex will be ending relatively soon here, and I don't know who's going to be able to hold on.
T-Gun, though, with the perfect response to that, he tossed down so many infested Terrans right into the middle of that, which forces the units out from the center for Protoss, so they cannot all immediately shoot and kill off those Broodlords. As we see, only 1 or 2 Archon shots went down. And what happened to that army? It dropped like 100 supply in about 5 seconds. Area. Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that one.
Sorry. My personal favorite one was definitely that one, just because in the kind of pre-part of that game, it was a 5-base Protoss against a 7-base Zerg. And that's just completely outrageous when you get right down to it in terms of kind of how standard StarCraft 2 goes. You'll see Zerg take a lot of bases, certainly, and I've every once in a great while seen them get up to about 7 bases, but Protoss expanding above about 4 is unbelievably rare. You almost never see a 5-base Protoss. And so the fact that Saravati not only took 5 bases, he worked incredibly hard to defend them and was able to build the late-game death ball that we're used to seeing in ordinary StarCraft 2 really showed that you don't need to forget everything that you ever learned in StarCraft 2 in order to do well in FRB. You just have to go about getting there a little bit differently. And that's really what kind of the theme of the whole project is.
Yeah, alrighty. Well, we're gonna go ahead and move into the last of the Pimpest Plays. This one was picked by Yaki, our amazing producer. Awesome guy, and just done so much for us this tournament. So after that, we should be moving into the finals. So be sure to tune into those. We'll be right back.
Be right back.
Go for the third. He is going to siege up his tanks outside the ramp of our Zerg player, and actually T-Gun's upgrades are hopefully going to be able to get finished in time. Yeah, they do get finished in time, and Rainbow takes out that Spine Crawler. Now T-Gun just really doesn't have too much to defend with, although he does have a decent amount of roaches, and actually, wow, interestingly enough, he's going to lift them into his Overlords and drop them on the tanks. Rainbow's going to have to be really careful because the splash engine actually dropping some queens right there. The splash damage is actually doing a lot of damage to his own tanks.
That was a perfect response from T-Gun. Rainbow had amazing position right there. He was actually using T-Gun's own wall against him by having those two evolution chambers blocking off any roaches that wanted to try to get in and engage. And so because T-Gun had invested in the drop tech, he just picked up all his guys and did almost a marine drop that we'll see sometime in
Alright, and that was the last one. Now that one was really impressive. T-Gun just played so well against Rainbow. In all honesty, I feel like Rainbow probably should have had maybe some Hellions up there with his tanks. He only had about 2 or 3, and he just lost them really easily. Of course, the drops were insane.
Yeah, Rainbow's attack had slowly been whittled down as he'd attempt to move further and further in, and by the time it had finally reached that good position, even though it had, like as I mentioned in the previous cast, an absolutely phenomenal spot to begin sieging his opponent's base, there just wasn't quite enough of it left to deal with the army dropping on top of it. If those roaches had attacked head-on, they all would have died instantaneously. Just so much damage would have been done to them, with splash as well. But because they were dropped on top, the tanks actually dealt splash damage to themselves, and it was the perfect way of breaking that contain.
Yes, indeed. Okay, well, I think it's about time to move into the finals. We're right on schedule. Is there anything else that you really want to talk about? I'm pretty stoked to see how these games play out.
Well, we're going to be going into the third place match
right.
first, which is going to be Vile Illusion versus Gosu T-Gun. So we're hopping into that in just a moment. Everybody, stay tuned.
All right, see you guys in a second.